Well, they are conducive for development. Now, it needs those optimal water temperatures, which are always in the Gulf during this time of year, and there is low wind shear. So that means the storms would have room to grow. Now, what we've been watching is for this system to get into the Gulf and the maintaining of the hurricane center of only 40%. So they are not ramping it up, even as this system starts to emerge with some of the thunderstorm activity into the Gulf waters. Now, as I was mentioning at the top of the newscast, this is officially where the center is, although actually since that last update, it almost looks like it may be around here or so. Again, still inland over Florida. You don't see any thunderstorms around the center. It is a very weak center, if that. That's why I'm thinking maybe it is trying to reform within this center of thunderstorms that are already offshore and already over those warm Gulf waters. This is basically a surface trough. So instead of it just being one closed low, it's kind of more or less an elongated area that extends from inland around Perry, Florida, down into the Gulf. What sometimes happens is that if one low becomes weak, removed from a lot of the storms, a new area of thunderstorm starts to concentrate, and that's where a new center forms. I'm not saying that is what's happening, but it's certainly interesting to watch these thunderstorms continue to fire up off on the Gulf waters, well removed from the so-called center. So this will be something we watch throughout the overnight period to see if those thunderstorms continue. If they kind of weaken or we start to see some activity try and develop near the center, which would be very difficult over land, then it looks like that maintains itself. But if that is the new center a little bit farther south, just kind of keep that in mind. All of these model lines would be a little bit farther south as well, and would also change the timing a little bit. With that in mind, here is the kind of official, unofficial forecast. As again, this is not yet a named storm and may never be. Moving to the west and continuing toward around southeast Louisiana, probably early or midday on Thursday. We'll already start to get the rainfall late Wednesday into Thursday and Friday. As this system turns northward, it'll take the bulk of the moisture with it, and we'll start to see our rain chances diminishing as we head into Saturday. As far as the inland winds go, didn't want to do that. As far as the inland winds go, they are very light and not really indicative of any kind of a center right now. In fact, not too far away from where a lot of those thunderstorms are. Winds are a little bit stronger, but even those aren't particularly strong, only 9 miles an hour at one of the buoys in the Gulf. What we are anticipating, regardless of this getting a name, is the heavy rain. And a flood watch will be in effect starting tomorrow afternoon through probably Friday night, maybe continuing into Saturday, depending upon how these rains set up. Now, as far as when we start to see the rains, beginning on Wednesday, probably more late afternoon into the evening. A little bit more widespread, a little heavier as we head into our Thursday. The worst day looks to be Friday. And again, this is all subject to change depending upon the structure of the system. And I don't want to say storm, I don't want to say depression, because we don't really know what it is going to be as it moves in our direction, but certainly a little bit more of a concern for heavy rains out to our west, though it does include parts of Terrebonne, and we're certainly right on the line of those heavy rains. Starting to subside by Saturday, then most of the rainfall is moving to the north. Regardless of whether or not this is the area or this is, it is stuck in between an upper low and an upper high, which will keep it moving west, so there really are no dramatic changes in the thinking of the eventual track. Where the changes come in is what exactly moves in our direction. So weather impacted are kind of starting late tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, with those rounds of heavy rainfall drying out and heating up towards Sunday and early next week.